Hello, my name's Tom and this is Proper Honest Tech. TVs are getting smarter, there's no denying it, and with it being 2021, you're actually going to struggle to purchase a new model TV that doesn't include some form of operating system, Wi-Fi connectivity, and apps. But there are still plenty of decent quality TVs kicking around that can't use apps, but where it doesn't make financial sense to get rid of them entirely. And for these TVs, you're going to want a device to make your dumb TV smart. Apple released their 4K Apple TV box back in 2017, giving you access to an entire Apple ecosystem through your TV. But when you consider that you can pick up a Fire Stick for about £30 these days, you have to question whether there's still a space in the market for the Apple TV, especially when the cheapest of the two available models costs £180. So, in this video, I'll show you what the 4K Apple TV can do, as of now in March of 2021, and ask whether or not it's still worth buying today, whether you should be holding off for a newer model, or whether it's even worth considering in the first place. Let's look at the device first. I can't unbox as I've had this for a couple of years now, but in the box you get the device itself, a Siri remote which I'll cover in detail on its own, a power lead, and a Lightning to USB cable, which is for charging the Siri remote. As for the Apple TV itself, it's a neat enough little unit, about 10 cm by 10 cm in terms of its footprint and 35mm high, so really not very big. On the rear you've got a power socket, a gigabit Ethernet, which is how I'm currently connected to the web, although you can of course connect via Wi-Fi, and a HDMI 2.0 port in the center. Keep in mind if you want the best possible picture quality, especially for things like Dolby Vision content, you're going to want to avoid cheaping out on your HDMI cable and get something that's really up to the job. The brains of the Apple TV 4K is the A10X Fusion chip, a 6-core CPU with 3 high-performance cores and 3 energy-efficient cores. This chip was first used in the 2017 iPad Pro, so even though it's now a bit dated, it's a beast of a chip, especially when you consider what it's being used for here. This is where I think the potential of Apple TV really lies, but we'll get to that later in the video. As for the Siri remote, it's really small, more than small enough to get lost on your coffee table, especially when compared with other remotes that you might use on a daily basis. It connects via Bluetooth to the Apple TV and has an accelerometer and 3-axis gyro, along with a microphone for Siri at the top, a touch surface for navigation, and buttons for controlling your media and moving about the operating system, although I must admit that the control system on this thing is horrible, and I'm really hoping that Apple improve this in future iterations. The Apple TV 4K runs tvOS, Apple's own dedicated operating system built for TVs. tvOS is pretty standard if you're someone who spent time using iPhones or iPads, with each app having its own dedicated tile on the home screen and familiar app icons that make transitioning from other Apple devices to the Apple TV very easy. You even delete and reposition apps the same way you do on iOS devices, using long holds and then physically dragging apps around on the screen. It's an easy learning curve. You get these apps from the App Store, which again is going to be familiar to you if you've ever used an equivalent App Store on other Apple devices. This, I think, is the true differentiator of the Apple TV from other TV devices, not so much the fact that it can handle apps, more that it can handle really high-quality apps built exclusively for Apple TV. The apps are broken down into categories as you'd expect, and all of your bases are covered, from cooking to fitness to entertainment, productivity. There really is an impressively large amount to see here, and it is of course growing all the time. You've got the games section, which is exactly what it sounds like, with a bunch of different games available for you to download or buy. And because this is Apple Silicon, essentially a variant of what's being used in the iPad and iPhone, porting games over to Apple TV is extremely straightforward and with amazing results. We're not talking AAA titles like you'd get on the PS5 or the Xbox, but the fact that these games are good at all is impressive, and with rumours abound that Apple are looking to make a serious move into gaming, it might not be long before we're enjoying the best of the best gaming options right here on the Apple TV. If you subscribe to Apple Arcade, you're covered in here and can download a wealth of titles and be up and playing in just a few minutes. There's even a dedicated Apple TV gamepad that you can buy from Apple, which I haven't tried, so if you have, do drop a comment and let me know if it's any good or not. Entertainment apps are of course going to be one of the core things that people rely on with their Apple TV, and Apple has really got you covered. I haven't been able to find a UK-based app that I've not been able to download to the Apple TV, with every major streaming platform having not only an app, but a really excellent app experience. What I mean by that is that thanks to the A10X chip, apps which look good on smart TVs look amazing when you open them up here on Apple TV. Take Netflix, for example, running here on my LG Smart TV. And then running here on Apple TV. The Apple TV version is in clear, crisp 4K HDR with silky smooth animations. Sure, it makes absolutely no difference when you're actually watching content, but it is nice to have the best app experience while you're browsing around. And then in terms of extras, you've got things like Apple's recently released Apple Fitness, which connects to your Apple Watch and gives you access to a range of different pre-recorded exercise classes to partake in. I'm not going to embarrass myself by recording me doing one of these, but I've used it a few times and plan to use it more, and it's really very good. And because your Apple Watch and Apple TV can communicate with one another, your progress is shown both on your watch and on the TV, making it a much more immersive experience. Okay, so now let's talk about the Apple TV app, which is, let's face it, one of the core things you're going to be using with your Apple TV. The idea behind the app is that you've got access to all of your chosen TV in one place. So if I head to mine and scroll around, you'll see that TV options are included from all of the services that I use. I've got BBC content mixed with Channel 4 content, with Netflix content, Prime content, Disney Plus content, and of course Apple's own Apple TV Plus. In today's world of streaming options, it's actually a really good idea to have an app that brings together everything in one place, although I have to admit that as a Sky Q owner, I think Sky also does a really good job of this. I think what would be really great is if Apple could start to go down the Netflix route of categorizing everything and then giving recommendations. So, like here for example, we've got Best of Channel 4 or Best of My 5, but I'd much rather if it said UK Police Thrillers or If You Enjoyed Hell's Kitchen, that kind of thing. What I do like though is that the app does a good job of keeping track of what you're watching across all of the platforms, allowing you to jump back into whatever you've been watching lately. So, for example, I've been watching a couple of films lately, the absolutely fantastic This Country and The Terror on iPlayer, and they're all right there ready for me to keep going. Siri features here in the remote control, and it's Siri. When it's good, it's great, but when it's bad, it's pretty awful. You can ask Siri a number of different things related to film and TV, like showing you films with a certain actor or finding a certain genre on Netflix. You can ask it about the weather or when your favorite sports team are playing, and because Apple TV is seen as a home hub for the Apple HomeKit, you can use it to control things like your lights or show you camera feeds for compatible devices. Siri is also constantly improving, and I have seen a noticeable improvement of the voice control function of the Apple TV over the years, even if it's still not up to the level of rivals from Google and Amazon. We haven't talked about video and audio quality, but everything is exactly as you'd expect in a premium device like this, with the box supporting Dolby Vision and HDR10 in 4K, along with Dolby Digital and Dolby Atmos on the audio side. So connected to a good TV and sound system, you're going to be really happy with the results. Compared to the built-in apps on my LG Smart TV, it definitely looks and sounds every bit as good. So, it's a good, maybe even great device, and I really enjoy using mine on an almost daily basis. But is it worth buying one now, in 2021? My honest answer is probably no, unless you fall into the very specific category of being someone who desperately wants access to the Apple TV ecosystem and own a 4K TV that doesn't have the Apple TV app. Because that's another thing to think about. Apple are now putting the Apple TV app on a number of other devices. I can access it on my PS4 Pro, and while my LG Smart TV can't access it due to being about 1 year too old, all new TVs come with the Apple TV app. So then, this box becomes more about the app ecosystem and the games, and right now neither of those are good enough to make it worth the money, in my opinion. But I think that could change in the near future, as rumors are suggesting that Apple are wanting to make a move into the gaming industry. I do believe that all it will take is a few good developers to make some real AAA titles compatible with Apple TV and the latest iPhone and iPads, and then you would definitely have a compelling reason to buy into the latest Apple TV. Could that be this year? You never know with Apple, so I guess watch this space. That's it for this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, do please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more content like this in the future. See you on the next video.